Hello, are we live? Gonna kind of be a long stream because I forgot how many of these there were. You can kind of see already what we're doing just based on the title. I'm gonna have some pretty hot takes, I think. So I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be upset, but you know, I'm always right. Let me get some music going here. Tell me if you guys can hear that. If it's too quiet or anything, let me know. But here's what we're doing today. Big ass tier list, and all of these Pokemon need to be ranked. You see that? Again, I have a feeling some of my picks are going to be controversial. I have this tier, this extra tier, because there's like 70 Pikachus that are like wearing different hats. I'm only ranking one Pikachu, and the rest of them are going to go in this little extra tier. Same if we run into any other people like that, but for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. But that's the plan for today. Is probably get yelled at by chat because they don't agree with my rankings. Let me move some stuff around here. All right. Let's get started, I guess. I actually want to do a quick audio check. Give me just a second. Do a little audio check. Everybody hold. I want to make sure the music can be heard, so I apologize. Give me just a few seconds here. It's always weird having to like check audio. All right, here we go. I couldn't initially tell, but I might. I don't know. I'll take it as like it's fine. I'm just gonna trust that it's fine, and we're gonna deal with it. All right. Number one. Oh yeah, we're gonna get, because this could be like a, if I'm not quick, this could turn into like a 5-hour stream. So we're gonna be quick and decisive. Bulbasaur, easy B tier. I mean, I'm gonna have a different ranking for Venusaur. Honestly, like I'm a pretty big fan of Venusaur. Ivysaur, less than Bulbasaur. Honestly, like a C tier maybe. Again, I'm doing this all based on like feeling. You know, like I'm just feeling it out. If I sit here and think about it for too long, we'll be here forever. This is big Venusaur. I'm putting that in extra because I didn't really mess around with any of the Sword and Shield stuff, so all of the big giant forms are going in extra as well. Mega Venusaur though, it's kind of bad. Regular Venusaur is an A tier. I'm just being honest. Regular Venusaur is kind of goated. Like you could beat the whole game with just a Venusaur. This is gonna be controversial. Charmander himself, I would say, is a B tier. Charmeleon is an F tier. That's an ugly ass Pokemon. Giant Charizard again goes in here. Mega Charizard X, F tier. Terrible. Like who are you trying to impress? You know what I'm saying? This Charizard can go in B tier though. This guy looks cool. Regular Charizard goes down in C tier though. Like Charizard is cool and all, but he's got too much clout for his own good. Squirtle could be a C tier. Wartortle can be an F tier. I'm just being honest. I'm actually gonna put Ivysaur down here. All of the second form starters are kind of garbage. Again, giant version goes down here. Mega Blastoise, kind of lame, honestly. Like I'm not a big fan. I'll put him in D tier. And regular Blastoise can chill up here with Charizard. So far, Venusaur out to a huge lead, because I'm telling you, Caterpie goes in F, Metapod goes in F, Giant Butterfree goes in that tier, regular Butterfree can go in D tier. Talk about a shit line. Weedle is a little bit better. Kakuna goes obviously the same as here. Mega Beedrill is kind of sick, I'm gonna be honest. He can go up here with Blastoise, he can chill out in C tier. But regular Beedrill is chilling out with Butterfree, you know what I'm saying? Pidgey, I mean, what do you want me to do? It's a bunch of pigeons. Mega Pidgeot is kind of cool. Regular Pidgeot can stay down here. I mean, it's a bird What do you want me to do? It's just a bird. I can't have too many opinions if it's just a bird. This is, what is this? This is from Sun and Moon. This is the Alolan rat Pokemon. Not a big fan. I mean, it's chilling out with like this tier here, honestly. Regular rat, F tier. Fat rat, F tier. F tier. The only reason this is the one of the rat line that actually gets above, that's because it just looks kind of cool. I like the mustache. The mustache is the only thing that puts this in D tier. That's the only thing that saves it. Another just regular bird, F tier. Fearow, the problem is Fearow's kind of cool. He's got like I like the move Drill Peck, and he's got the biggest beak of any bird I've ever seen. Ekans, I mean, it's just an animal. This one's kind of cool though. We'll put him here. Okay, and here, this is why the extra tier was created. There's so many Pikachus. They're just all wearing different hats. They're all going here. I will rank Pikachu by itself, but I'm not ranking every single version of Pikachu that's wearing a hat. Like, that's just absurd. There's way too many. Like, I don't know, whoever made this tier list should not have put every one of these Pikachus in here. Now I can rank this Pikachu. You think I'm gonna put him in S? No, hell no. I'm gonna put him in like D tier. He's not that cool. Raichu, on the other hand, like the actual Raichu is sick. Give that dude a Thunderstone, he goes up to a B tier. He's chilling out with like the starters. And Alolan Raichu is kind of lame. He is psychic type though, and he's surfing. I'll put him in D tier. I was gonna put him in F tier, but he's a little bit cooler than a bunch of birds. You know what? I'll put him in C tier. He can go in C tier. This Sandshrew, the ice type Sandshrew, absolutely goated. Like, I'm thinking B tier for that. And this Sandslash, like I like ice type Pokemon in general, but the fact that like it goes from these guys who's like maybe D tier, and that shoots him up to B tier, I think, giving him ice type and like changing it, because like look at that. These two are way cooler than these two. If these two showed up to the same party, no one would be talking to these two. You know what I'm saying? The Nidoqueen line. I'm just gonna rank these at the same time. I think up until they actually evolve, they're absolute garbage. But once they evolve, they're sick. Nidoking and Nidoqueen can go in C tier, but their pre-evolution lines are F tier. They're ugly as all hell. Clefairy, straight up F tier, both of them. This is another like ice type thing, but here's the thing. I know I just made a big deal about, oh, it's cool that they have ice type, right? That only works once. You can't do that with every single Pokemon. D tier, D tier, C tier, C tier is what I'm gonna say here. Like, you can only get a big boost with one ice type, type swap, right? Same thing with Jigglypuff that I did for Clefairy. Honestly, like, I just don't like these random like pink blob Pokemon. Like Ditto as well. I'm gonna put Ditto on a higher tier, but he's just a pink blob, but he can transform, so it's kind of sick. Zubat goes in absolute F tier. I like running into this thing every 5 seconds anytime I'm playing a game has left a bad taste in my mouth, and he's also just ugly. You know what I'm saying? Oddish, garbage. Paris, hold on, I messed it up. Paris, on the other hand, this Pokemon, these two, I'll give Paris a nice D tier. Parasect gets another F though. That's an F from me. Venonat, absolute F. This guy, Venomoth, kind of cool. Yeah, pretty cool. These, the regional variant is honestly worse than the actual one. I'll give Diglett regular a D tier, but the regional variant gets a straight up F because they made it worse. They actively downgraded poor Diglett as if he wasn't already lame enough. They make him worse. Hold on, I'm gonna turn up the music a little bit. Hopefully you guys can hear the music. It looks like you can. Now we get to the Meowth section here, and how many Meowths does there need to be? Because we've got Meowth regular, Meowth giant, who we can just put down here as an extra, and then there's two. He got two regionals. and they all suck. They're all going in F tier. They're all really bad. And this goofy ass Persian, regular Persian, honestly, can go like up here. But this goofy ass Persian, big eyed, big head, weird shaped ear Persian, F tier. And no one can tell me I'm wrong. Psyduck, respectable D tier. Golduck, I would even put a tier above that in C tier. We're getting a couple good ones. So far, the highest has been Venusaur, and no one has even come close. Like there's a pretty big difference between B tier. Like these three are way different than these two. There's a bit of a divide. Mankey. This line's all right. There's actually isn't there a new evolution in Scarlet and Violet that we might be able to rank later? Rock type Growlithe. Honestly, this is kind of tough because I actually like all four of these. Like I like it. This fight in the game that you fight it was pretty cool. There's like lava everywhere. Just based on that, I'll give these two a D tier, like the non-evolved versions, and then we'll go all the way up to a. This will get a B tier. Regular Arcanine can get a C tier. Because this rock type Arcanine is actually pretty cool. I'm gonna be honest. Poliwag F tier. Poliwhirl F tier. Poliwrath D tier. Kind of a shit line, to be honest. Here's the interesting part. Abracadabra and Alakazam. D tier for Abra. Just cause, well, actually no, C tier because like the whole teleport thing is pretty iconic. Kadabra, I mean, I'll also give that a C tier. Regular Alakazam though, you don't get any more iconic than that. And Mega, I mean, he just gets a bunch of spoons. Put him in D tier. Machop, F tier. Machoke, D tier. Machamp, also D tier. But this giant one has to go in extra tier because I don't rank the extra versions other than Mega Evolutions. Bellsprout, if there was a below F tier, I would put that in below F tier. Same with this. Honestly though, this one's kind of cool. I'm actually gonna put this way up in C tier. I know the first two got put way down here, but what is this thing's name? Bellsprout, Victory Bell. Victory Bell is actually kind of dope. I would put it up here with like Charizard and Blastoise, honestly. Tentacool, bad. Tentacool, slightly better, but not really. Electric type Geodude, not great, not great, not great, not great. But here's where we get cool. I am actually a huge fan of Graveler. We'll put him in C tier. Electric type Graveler, even better. Even better, we put him in B tier. Electric type Graveler is sick. Like unironically, electric type Graveler is dope. And regular Graveler is way better. Like I know I put the electric types right here in D tier and the regulars down here, but once it evolves into Graveler, it's much cooler than like a living rock because it's like there's like a lizard in there somewhere. Not a fan of these evolutions or these regional variants. This one can go slightly higher, and I'll actually even I'll put this one up here. And I'll put this one up here, but I'm not a fan of like the rainbow shit. This is a regional one, right? He's like part steel type. Spoiler alert, they're all shit. Like they're all bad, including the Mega, who is like I'm actually I want to put an extra tier for like the worst of the worst, because this Mega is an absolute disgrace. Like, what the hell were they thinking with that? Magnemite, not cool. Magnezone, who we'll be ranking later, gets way higher, but this is just trash. Again, just more birds right here. Actually, this is the regional type. We'll actually put you up here. More birds, but these ones are slightly cooler, so I'm going to rank them a little bit higher here. They can actually go into D tier. Honestly, no, the three-headed bird has tri-attack. It can go to C tier. It was saved by its attack. Seal, all right. I know I don't like it's just a regular animal, but Seal's kind of sick. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Dugong's actually going to get a lower ranking than Seal in D tier. Seal is just a cool Pokemon. Now, like, what do you expect me to do with these? They're all going in F tier. These piles of sludge. Absolute, I don't know what they were thinking. And like, oh, look, we made them rainbow color. Isn't that cool? No. Like, I know it's supposed to be like oil on the ocean is supposed to be the general idea there when it gets like rainbow hue color on it. Shelter can actually go up here with dugong. Cloister can go up there as well. I actually like that. I was gonna move it up, but I actually like where that's at. Ghastly goes up there. Haunter goes even a step higher, and surprise, surprise, Gengar is gonna go up all the way to B tier. He's joined the top ranks here. We don't count giants. We do count megas though, and honestly, the mega Gengar is like kind of a huge step back. We'll put him here as Ghastly. Onyx F tier, and no, we'll go D tier. He's slightly better than that. Trash, don't even want to talk about it. There's another giant form. Krabby and Kingler are kind of cool. I'll even put Kingler up a step higher. I'll put Kingler up here. Kingler's kind of like, he's got some cool little attacks. These four, you might expect them all to go down to F tier. You're half right. 2 of them will, but this, I was impressed. I still think it's a dumb concept, like, oh look, it's a living Pokeball or whatever the idea is, but I was impressed with the kind of the creativity where, oh, we're in a world where all the Pokeballs are wooden, so obviously Voltorb and whatever the Electrode would obviously be wooden too. That's actually going to get them pretty high marks from me. Just for the novelty of it, I'm going to put them up in like, I think they deserve a whole 2 rank buff for that. We're putting them in C tier because I just like the idea that, like, oh, whoever made the game thought of like, okay, we have these 2 really shitty Pokemon. How can we make that concept not the worst ever? Oh, make them wooden. and it fits because all the Pokeballs in that game are wooden, obviously. I like it. Oh, and obviously this is straight up the worst Pokemon. This one too. I like the idea of the palm tree though, the regional variant. We'll put it up here. Slightly cooler. Cubone, everyone loves Cubone, but it's kind of mid, honestly. Like, I have no care for its backstory. The Alolan Marowak is actually sick, and by that I mean it gets to C tier. It's only up there with the it only gets up there with the Voltorb grass types. These 2, everyone's kind of mid on them, so I'm going to actually put them here. You won't ever get any complaints if you put these 2 in D tier. No one likes them, and no one like actively hates them. They kind of just exist. Lickitung, pretty famous Pokemon. We'll put them in D tier. Another spoiler alert here. These are all going in F tier. Just clouds of poison. Actually, no. Well, I like the top hat and like the mustache motif they have going on here, so I'll put them up 1 tier higher, but that's it. Rhyhorn is kind of cool. Rhydon is even cooler. Honestly, I'd put him up in A tier. Rhydon's just cool. A rock monster that doesn't look like a pile of rocks like Graveler? Hell yeah. He goes in A tier, or B tier rather. No one has gotten to A tier yet. Chansey, garbage. Another pink blob type Pokemon. There's way too many of those. Tangela, garbage. Kangaskhan and Mega Kangaskhan are the fucking same thing. It just jumps out of its pouch. And for that, they're going to D tier. These 2 are kind of cool, honestly. Horsey and Seadra? Is that the names? They go in C tier. Honestly, actually, yeah, C tier sounds about right to me. Where's Nidoking? I actually want to move Nidoking up. Where did I put Nidoking? Put Nidoking actually a tier higher. I've always been a big fan of Nidoking, because I realize I haven't been putting many people in like the higher ranks. They go down here. Staryu and Starmie can take like a slight trip higher to D tier, but they're not that great. Here's something that might surprise you. This ice type Mr. Mime, I actually had one of these, well, the evolution of it in my Sword and Shield playthrough. Kind of sick. Go up to C tier, but the regular Mr. Mime goes to F tier, no questions asked. This Scyther Scyther's just cool. Put him in C tier. Jinx, garbage. Electabuzz and Magmar are getting the same rank. Not F tier, don't freak out. They're going pretty high. They can go here. Just because they open the door to their, like, the evolutions that they get later in Diamond and Pearl are, spoiler alert, they're at least getting a B tier. They're both really cool. Mega Pinsir. I actually like Mega Pinsir a lot. And regular Pinsir can go here. Oh, this is actually interesting. So there's this water type Tauros, the fire type Tauros, and then the non, like the just regular dark type Tauros. I actually really like that they put these two in. They'll get a higher tier than the regular Tauros, let me tell you. Like, they made them look different just by the color of their, like, neck fur, whatever you call that. That's kind of cool. The regular one can go here, and then the standard one you can go down here. Magikarp, give it a D tier out of respect. Mega Gyarados, it's kind of cool, so we'll give it a C tier. Regular Gyarados, I mean, it's an iconic Pokemon. It's gotta be a B tier. But I feel like the Mega Gyarados was actually kind of a step down. It's less recognizable, honestly. I know what they were going for with it, but I'm just not that big of a fan. Lapras, another kind of iconic Pokemon. You can go up to this tier. You can join the second best, the runner-ups. Ditto, trash. Excuse me. Ditto's trash. It's another just pink blob Pokemon. I know it can transform and all that, but like its base form is just a pile of shit. Big Eevee, not getting ranked. Regular Eevee, F tier. Evolutions of Eevee. Vaporeon is bad. Jolteon is awesome. Jolteon's going way up. I'm a big fan of electric types. Honestly, Jolteon can like go to B tier. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Flareon, right in the middle. One above Vaporeon, one below Jolteon. That's the official ranking. Porygon is kind of cool. We're gonna put Porygon way up. By that I mean to C tier. These two, I'll be honest, the Generation 1 fossils are kind of garbage. There's only one that isn't going to get F tier. You get F tier. But here's the deal, right? This one, Kabutops, is going to B tier. And I'll tell you why, if anyone's listening. In Pokemon Stadium for the Nintendo 64, he has an attack. If you use Mega Kick with him, he sticks his claws in the ground and swings. That alone gets him B tier because it's the coolest Pokemon animation that's ever been made, and it has still yet to be surpassed. Like it actively, they have not beaten that animation yet. Mega Aerodactyl is absolute garbage, and regular Aerodactyl, not that cool. I'll give it a C. Not getting ranked is Snorlax. And this regular Snorlax can get ranked a D tier. Wow, we've got a lot. We still have a lot to do. I'm just realizing how I'm realizing how much work this is. Mostly because I have to keep scrolling up every time. Is there not a way I could like scroll while I can totally. Okay, that kind of saves me some time. This Articuno Psychic type is the worst of the bunch. Regular Articuno is iconic, as are all of the legendary birds. This fighting type Zapdos is fucking sick, like actually goated, as is regular Zapdos. Put him up here. This red flaming Moltres, I'll put that in C tier. Regular Moltres as well can go in C tier. Kind of a step down from these three, honestly. These two, again, because I'm ranking the separate Pokemon themselves and not like the entire line, let's be honest, these are just blue fucking snakes. Dragonite himself is goated. Like he gets up here for sure. But these are just literally 2 garden hoses with faces. This Mewtwo is the worst thing ever. This Mewtwo's not bad. I'd even put it in C tier, but nothing beats, none of the Mega Evolutions can beat the actual regular Mewtwo. Iconic for a reason. Mew, fucking F tier. No one likes Mew. This entire fucking line, F tier. Like, this is the, like, one of the top 5 worst starter lines of all time. All 3 of these are pure garbage. Like, actual, like, what were they thinking kind of shit. Cyndaquil line, absolutely dope. I'd even put the entire line at C tier. Like, the whole line goes in C tier. This version, however, will actually get a step up in B tier, and actually regular Typhlosion as well gets to go to B tier. And I'll drop Cyndaquil down here to kind of keep it consistent. Quilava is like one of the best mid, like, you see I put Charmeleon and Wartortle down here. Quilava is can actually like hold his own in terms of, like, does he look cool or does he look dumb? Totodile, this line, not the greatest, I'll be honest. Like, I'd even put all of them in the same tier as just Cyndaquil. Trash, of course. Like, all of them. They all look like a lot of, like, almost, like, I'm just gonna speed run this right now. Actually, Ariados is cool. Ariados is really cool. Put him up there. Crobat, awesome. Up there with Ariados in C tier. This one's bad, but the evolution is pretty cool. We'll actually, oh, where'd that go? Hello? There it is. Let's actually put that up there. Pichu, terrible. This, terrible. This, terrible. This, terrible. And this, also terrible. Oh, and the terrible doesn't stop yet. Terrible, terrible. Gen 2 had a lot of terrible shit. Now we get to this. Now we get to some of the good stuff. Like, look at this. This whole line, actually, Flaffy, kind of the disappointment of the bunch. Mega Ampharos, easy B tier. Regular Ampharos, up there in C tier with Mareep. Again, garbage, garbage, and garbage. Sudowoodo, no thanks. This thing, no thanks. You'd rather have a Poliwrath than that thing. Hoppip, garbage. This thing, garbage. Who has ever used any of this? Apom, get out of here. Sunkern, garbage. Like, no one likes any of these. I know I'm kind of speed running it right now. Actually, I'm gonna put this thing up here. That's kind of cool. Another garbage tier right here. No one has ever actually liked. I know I just put a whole shit ton of Pokemon in there, just like kind of speed running it, but they're all terrible. Here's some things that I can actually rank. Espeon's cool. Umbreon's even cooler. Like, Umbreon's up here with the B tier. Murkrow, actually not like it's a bird that they didn't just make a regular ass bird like an owl or a pigeon. This thing I'll put in D tier. If I could even, Jesus, if I could even find B tier. F tier has become so big that it's hard to get out of F tier. Honestly, F tier. Every unknown ever is F tier. Wobbuffet, F tier. Girafarig could be up there. Pinecone, bad. This thing that evolves from Pinecone, bad. Dunsparce, bad. Gliscor, cool. I like Gliscor. I know that's Gligar, but like when it evolves, it'll be Gliscor. Mega Steelix and regular Steelix are going to be separate. They're going to be separated. The Mega Steelix is just straight up cooler. Like C tier level cool, I think. These two shouldn't exist. They're terrible. This thing, terrible, but the poison type from that other game is kind of cool. This this hair straightener ass Scizor is straight up F tier. Regular Scizor though goes up here, way up top with the other cool folks. but the hair, like the irons, like what is that, like with the hair iron straightener that people use for their hair, like with long hair? That's what this is, and it's terrible. This thing, speaking of terrible, right there. I like the beetle, like fighting beetle thing there, but honestly, Heracross is like kind of lame, so I'll put it up there out of respect. Both of these low tier. Ursaring, like the big Ursaring, can go up to D tier, but that's it. These are terrible right here. I always forget, if anyone's in here, you would assume that these two are actually from Generation 3, like Ruby and Sapphire. You wouldn't assume that these guys are from this generation, right? You wouldn't assume that. At least I wouldn't. I was like, oh, these guys are from Ruby and Sapphire. No, they're actually from Gen 2. That always surprises me. These two are bad. These are bad. Actually, I'm gonna put this one, because this one's kind of cool. I'll even put it up in C tier. Like this evolution that makes no sense is going straight down. Not cool. Pretty cool. Right here. Skarmory. Another Pokemon that I would have assumed was from Generation 3, just because of how much they use it in Generation 3. Houndoom. This one, Houndoom, is C tier. This Mega Houndoom is also, because it didn't get that much cooler, also C tier. I need to like zoom out the page or something. We're getting like it's getting hard to zoom, like scroll up when I have something picked. Kingdra gets a pretty high rank. Garbage. Porygon 2, kind of cool. Where did I put regular Porygon? Right here. It can go up here with regular Porygon. It's a pretty good sequel. This thing terrible. This thing terrible. Terrible. Really terrible. Terrible. This thing can actually go up here in D tier, as well as this one. Miltank, terrible. This thing, terrible. Now I can rank these C tier. No, this one actually gets a B tier. Entei gets a C tier. And this one also gets a C tier. All right, this line is pretty cool. Here's we're finally gonna have some. We'll finally get out of F tier for a while. Cause, well, actually, this is F tier, but this can go up here, and the regular Tyranitar actually can go up here. And then there's these two. I mean, Lugia is really cool. And so is Ho-Oh. Or Ho-Oh, how you say that. I mean, what'd you expect? They're both getting B tier. Terrible. Now we're in Gen 3. And I think, so now that we're in Gen 3, I think it's a good point to like take a quick break. We've gotten through 2 generations now. I'm kind of running out of... I'm sort of running out of... Or like the F tier is getting really big, so I might try to find like a solution to like how I can make this easier to scroll through, you know, because like we still got a lot of Pokemon to go. Like, look at this shit. We got a long way to go, so we can go to a quick break, and when we get back we'll continue, because we got a long way to go, so we're gonna have to continue when we get back. All right, we're back. I thought it was gonna be a quick break. Gotta get the music going again. Get OBS back open again. There we go. All right, now on to the next. By the way, I didn't find like a fix to my problem where like I was like, oh, it's hard to it's hard to deal with the getting through F tier to get up to the next tiers. We'll deal with it though. Trico, this entire line is absolutely goated. Really cool. And Grovyle, go all the way up here as well to C tier. Mega Sceptile goes up there. And regular Sceptile, honestly, this Mega Sceptile goes up here as Venusaur. The first Pokemon since Venusaur. Venusaur was the 4th Pokemon we ranked. Now the first Pokemon to join him since then is Sceptile. Grass type starters is the best type. Torchic is actually a goated line too. This is the problem with Gen 3. All 3 of the starters are really cool. Regular Blaziken. Actually, you can go up here, but this is gonna shock you. It's not that long after we've got the second that we're gonna get the 3rd entrance into the A tier. Mega Blaziken is cool. Mostly because if you guys remember, when X and Y came out, there was that gift Pokemon. It was a Speed Boost Torchic. I used that Speed Boost Torchic to make it like level 100 eventually. Mega Blaziken with Speed Boost. That thing wrecked through like the battle, whatever the battle institution was in X and Y, and then I currently have it now. Not the Mega, because obviously they've done away with Megas, but I had it in Sun and Moon. I had it Mega evolving, going through the battle tree. Now I have that very same Blaziken in the most recent ones, in Pokemon Home, waiting to be put into whatever the newest game that's available to be put in. So a little bit of nostalgic value, but it's as good a reason as any. Marsh Stomp line, the Mudkip line is also really cool. Mega Swampert is going to get a pretty high treatment here because of Pokemon Masters. Mega Swampert in that game is fucking crazy. Like the range strats with Mega Swampert is unbelievable. And I'll put regular Swampert up here too. Honestly, F tier. Gen 3 has some, I'll tell you this much, Gen 3 has a lot better Pokemon than Gen 2. Gen 3 Pokemon are kind of fucking dope, except these. Like, I know I just said we're like, but come on, like it's all the Route 1 garbage we gotta get out of the way here. Like, get all of these out of the way and give me some cool stuff. Here we go, Lotad. Now we're talking. Lotad's up there. Lombre is also up here. Ludicolo, not so much. C-Dot, this whole line, another cool ass line. This is what I'm telling you, like the Gen 3 Pokemon, like they're sick. Shiftry is going up here like above, like in the B tier. Like the B tier is finally getting filled in a little bit, mostly because of Gen 3. Even so here's a good example of what I was talking about earlier with Pidgey. Like, this is just a regular bird, but they at least made it look cool. Like, they gave it different colors, and this one with the 2 big ass tail fins, whatever you call those, like the chopstick tails, actually cool. That scores at a D tier and a C tier respectively. Like, Swellow is kind of dope. Whatever you call that. Wingull, trash. Pelipper, slightly better than trash. This whole line, trash, just because of the reputation that they have. These guys, trash. This Pokemon, trash, but the evolution is actually kind of cool. I used one of these for the Great Ball League in Pokemon Go. I used one of these. This thing, it wrecks people. Trash. Slightly better than trash. Very slightly better than trash, honestly. Like that's a disappointing line. Trash. Trash. Kind of a cool concept, so I'll give it a D tier out of respect. Trash. Trash. Had one of these in my first ever Nuzlocke that we did a couple weeks ago, so I'll put it in D tier. These two are awful. This thing, awful. This thing, awful. Awful. I know I just mentioned that Gen 3 has a lot of better Pokemon, but it doesn't mean they're immune to having trash. Sableye, why are you even a fucking Pokemon? You as well. Here we go. Here's another good line. Aaron. Respectable D tier. Larion. Nice little C tier Pokemon. Aggron regular is getting a B tier. Aggron's dope. Mega Aggron is a little bit disappointing, honestly. So it's can actually take a step back. Meditite, garbage. And then this is also this seems like a Gen 4 Pokemon just because there's so many fucking Meditites in Diamond and Pearl. Similar to how these two seem like they're from Gen 3, but they're actually not, because they're always in that volcano area. I always find that very interesting. I have no idea what this thing is. I guess it's like mega version of this, but I mean, I hate all three of them, so they're all going in there. Here we go. This is cool. Both of them can go up there. I believe there's a mega as well. Is that correct? Yes, there is. They'll all get the same ranking. All three of them. Trash. Hate both of these. These as well. This will get a slightly higher ranking because of what it evolves into later. Gulpin, no thanks. Carvana. Which is Carvana not like a card, like an insurance or something? Like I hear commercials about Carvana. It's a Pokemon. They stole that name. Mega Sharpedo actually goes up to B tier. Regular Sharpedo stays here in C tier. Whalmer and Whale Lord. I actually like these guys a lot. They can go to C tier. Whale Lord will get a slightly better ranking in B tier. Again, the ranks are filling out fast here. Garbage, 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 garbage. Again, we're dumping all the garbage right now. Here's some cool ones. Trapinch, slightly better. This thing, slightly better. This thing, A tier. Flygon is an A tier. And don't tell me I'm wrong. Actually, fuck it. Nidoking is also an A tier. A tier. Like S tier is reserved for like I don't even think I'll put anything in S tier unless I'm like forgetting like a really dope Pokemon. Like A tier is currently like the very tip top of all Pokemon ever. And you should be able to tell that because only 5 Pokemon now have made it. So, you know, and look, even Dragonite didn't make it. Even Zapdos didn't make it. Pokemon that I'm big fans of, they didn't make it. It's reserved for the top of the top. Little juxtaposition. We were just talking about the top of the top. These are the bottom of the bottom. No, I'm not. No, I like the idea of a fucking cactus being an asshole. It's like, isn't the Pokedex entry like, oh, he beats the hell out of people in the desert or something? That's a funny idea to me that like they thought of making a cactus evil. You can go to B tier. The mega version is like way down here. The mega version sucks. Zangoose, garbage. Seviper, garbage. This rock, garbage. This other rock, garbage. Barboach, garbage. Wishcash, garbage. Lobster, garbage. Bigger lobster, D tier. Garbage, 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 Oh, we're running through a lot of garbage. Here we go. These aren't garbage though. Anaranth and Anna something. I forget the name. Amarildo. You can actually go even higher to B tier. That's a cool fossil Pokemon. Phoebus. Trash. Melodic. Trash. All cast form variations. I'm not ranking these individually, so they're going extra tier. But cast form in general, including those three, is terrible. Kecleon, awful. Shuppet, awful. 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 Okay. A little better than awful. Dusclops. D tier, of course. Tropius, however you say that. Respectable C tier. Chimecho, why do you even exist? Absolutely D tier. You see what I did there? And the mega version, F tier, because it just looks too edgy. Like they attempted to make it look cool. It just ain't. Just isn't. You're bad. You're bad. You're bad. You're not bad. Like this, the feel line. Oh shit! My whole web page is going crazy. There's too many Pokemon to rank. We're not even through Gen 3 yet, and I'm already like trying to figure out how am I gonna. I have an idea what I might do. Walrein. B tier. Pretty cool. Clamperl, garbage. Huntail, garbage. Whatever this thing, Corbius, garbage. Relicanth, the only reason Relicanth is not in the garbage tier is because it is involved in getting the Regis. You have to have a Relicanth and a Wailord. So we'll give it a pass. This thing, worst Pokemon in the world. Like, give me a fucking break. Why does that have to exist? Bagon. D tier. Shelgon. F tier. Salamence. B tier. Mega Salamence. You guys hear that? It's in the background of the background of the background music had like a radio interference. Kind of not a fan of it. That kind of freaked me out for a second. Beldum. C tier. You can probably guess where Metagross is going, but you might be surprised by another decision I'm about to make. Mega Metagross, fucking terrible. Regular Metagross is an absolute classic. Goes up to B tier. Regirock is pretty C tier-ish. Regice. B tier. Actually, no. Regirock, he makes some funny noises in the show. You guys ever heard that Regirock noise compilation of like all the noises he makes in the show or in the movie? Registeel. I'm gonna put all of them at the same rank. B tier. No, fuck that. They're not B tier. Put them down here, actually. They're not that cool. Regice can stay. I like Regice. I'm gonna be honest. The three of them, the two of these and their Mega Evolutions are fucking terrible. I hate all of them. Kyogre, super ancient Kyogre version. You can go here. Regular Kyogre, however, it's B tier. Now, ancient, or what is it? Delta? Not Delta. Someone in the chat tell me what I forget what this Primal Groudon. He gets fire type and he gets ground type. Like, that's what he is, right? So he's 4 times weak to water, but he says, nah, you can't use water type moves because I have like super sunny day, basically, which is dope. He evaporates water type moves. That's the coolest shit ever. Groudon regular can go here. Mega Rayquaza is dope. You go up there. Regular Rayquaza can also go up here because it's just a classically dope Pokemon. Jirachi, garbage. I'm gonna put the extras, or I'm gonna put these in the extra tier. And then Deoxys in general, including those forms, will go here. And Turtwig. Oop. Turtwig and its evolutions are another one of my favorite starter lines. I'll tell you right now, Torterra's rank might shock you. But for now, Turtwig goes up there. Roddle, also another one of the Pokemon that can keep pace with its like the mid-range. The second evolution keeps pace pretty well. But here's Torterra going all the way up to B tier. Almost A tier, but not quite. There's gonna be another, we're gonna make a different starter from this generation, A tier. This is another generation where all the starters are just classic, like really good, just like Gen 3. Gen 1, not the best, honestly. Like Venusaur is amazing, but its first two evolutions are kind of shit. Charizard's pretty cool, but way overrated, and Blastoise is just eh. Gen 2, one of them is just a complete shit show. The Bayleaf line, garbage. The Feraligatr line is just okay at best, and the Typhlosion line is the only saving grace there. Gen 3, all three of them are great. Gen 4 as well, all three of them are great. So great, in fact, that Infernape will be the next to join the A rank. Infernape is fucking awesome. I once just to have some fun, because I'd beat the game so many times. I had Pokemon Platinum. I soloed it. Obviously, I had HM Pokemon, but I soloed the whole game, never dying with Infernape. It was like a Nuzlocke, but I was only allowed to use Infernape basically. And like I had a lot of fun doing that. It's like Infernape is fucking goated. Piplup can go there. This is like the biggest disappointment of those three starters there. That like ugly ass Penguin. And Apollyon is actually gonna go way up here with Torterra. Another shitty bird line, except Staraptor is cool enough. Don't know why they had to make him normal type. If he was not normal type, he would have been B tier, but he's not. Garbage, 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 garbage. Here we go. Shinx, not that cool, not yet at least. Same with this, but the evolution is going to get a respectable B tier. For a Pokemon you can catch as early as you can get that, like I think the first or second route you can get a Shinx. For Pokemon you get that early, I for my money, they have not made a Pokemon as cool as Luxray that you can get that early since. I just haven't seen it. And correct me if I'm wrong, because you can get this thing on either like the first or second available route. You can get a Shinx. To have it turn into something that cool, that's crazy. They haven't done anything like that since. Except maybe like Vikavolt in Pokemon Sun, which I will be ranking later. This is garbage. Roserade is kind of cool. I mentioned earlier that I put Rosalia up here. That's why, because Roserade is just cool. Granados, all right. Fossil Pokemon in this one. Granados and Shieldon are bad, but obviously when they evolve, they get a lot better. But not so much better that they're gonna like tip the scales or anything. I'm a big fan of Bastodon. Like, this guy's just he's a straight up B tier. These are all going in shit tier. Honestly, like these, like I'm gonna put the extras in extra tier, but they're just know that they're all the garbage. Like you can go in garbage tier. You two, and you as well, and you not so much. I'll put you up here. Aqua Jet kind of a cool move. We'll put you in C tier. Just because you have a cool move, I guess that invites you to C tier. Another one of these like weird ass lame grass type lines. These, I don't know why these have to exist. They're terrible. You as well, you're terrible. Here we go, Drifloom. Just because of the like, you have to like do specific shit. You know, you have to be, oh, come here on at 5 o'clock on a Friday. That gets some good points. And I will match the evolution in ranking. Obviously, same situation as Gardevoir. Too many people are being fucking weird about this line, so we're putting it in F tier. This thing's all right. Here we go. Honchkrow. Easy B tier. Dope ass bird. Again, like, it's one of the situations where they actually thought about how to make a bird cool, and they did it. Other than fucking, you know, where's that at? Other than Pidgey. The Pidgey line, which they just made birds. I'll actually, no, it's too late to move them. These are garbage. As is this bell. And these skunks. And this little fucking silver thing and its evolution. Again, we hit spots where like everything is like getting sucked into the garbage tier. And then like eventually we'll come across something that gets to escape the garbage tier, but not for a while. Chat shot, pretty bad. Here we go, Spiritomb. See, this is what I meant, like when we find something that can finally escape the garbage tier. Gibble can escape the garbage tier, but just barely, just barely. Gabite is only as cool as Gibble, honestly. And here's the big boy, Garchomp, running all the way up to B tier. And Mega Garchomp gets a fucking F because he actually gets worse after you Mega Evolve. I remember that whole scandal. Munchlax is awful. I fucking hate Lucario, I'm gonna be honest. All right, actually, all right, pause. I hate Lucario personally, but in Pokemon Masters, the Lucario like anniversary unit is fucking goated. For that, out of respect for the mobile game Pokemon Masters, I'm putting it up to D tier. It gets 1 tier jump because it has a like the fucking the unit in the game is so fucking good. Like you put that on any team and you're good to go. Best defensive unit in the game. If you know, you know. Like if you ever see this and you've played Pokemon Masters and you have that unit, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know why I had to give it a little bit of a bump. I actually am a big fan of Scorpy and whatever it turns into, I forget the name. What is it? Drapion. Drapion is the name of this thing. I'm a big fan of that. You put a balloon on that, whatever that tactical balloon, whatever that's called, where it gets to float until it gets hit. Croagunk is kind of dope. Toxicroak, whatever this guy's name is, Toxicroak, he can go up there with Drapion. Carnivine, not Carvana. Trash tier, little, very slightly above trash tier. You're trash tier. You're trash tier. You're really trash tier. Well, like the Mega Evolution does not make this thing any better. Magnezone, uh-oh. Sound the alarms, another A tier incoming. Magnezone is fucking dope. Like, if I could have a Magnezone in every single game, I would. Magnezone is awesome. Licky, which is literally, that thing's name is terrible. Rhyperior is a massive step down from Rhydon, but not so much that I'm willing to throw it into D tier. You see, I have a lot of respect for Rhydon. This thing is terrible. Here we go. Electivire. Immediately, another A tier. Look at this. We went from Nidoking all the way to Sceptile. We didn't have a single A tier. Technically from Venusaur all the way to Sceptile, because this was a after decision to put Nidoking up there. We went a whole generation like all entire 2 generations without having a single entry into the A tier, from literally grass starter from Gen 1 to grass starter to Gen 3. Now we've got 3 from 1 generation. We actually had that 3 from 1 generation here as well. Just goes to show you the 1 generation that is not represented here is actually Gen 2. With that in mind, I'm going to do something unprecedented once again. And I'm actually going to put Typhlosion up here. Just because I feel bad that there's not a Generation 2 Pokemon up here already when you go straight from 1 to 3. I think out of all Generation 2 Pokemon, Typhlosion deserves it. The reason I didn't put Ghost type Typhlosion is because that's technically from a later game anyway. And I would feel bad if the representative from Gen 2 is actually from like the Switch, then that's a bad look. So A tier, we're getting a couple in there now. Now Magmortar, very close to joining Electivire, but not quite. Doesn't quite make it. Not quite as cool, you know? Togekiss, C tier probably. I'm not that big of a fan. Yanmega, if this thing was Dragon type, it'd be B tier, but it's not, so it's C tier. Leafeon, hey, anyone who's playing Pokemon Masters, they recently came out a Leafeon and a what is this thing, Glaceon? They recently came out Leafeon and Glaceon units, and they're both fucking cracked. So they're that puts them in C tier. They're not that cool otherwise, but they recently had 2 units released that are unbelievable. Here's Gliscor going in C tier. Mamoswine gets this pretty significant bump up from where its pre-evolutions were. Porygon Z, you might be surprised, I'm putting it in B tier. I find Porygon Z to be kind of fucking cool just because of how crazy it is. Gallade, I'm gonna put down here. I'm not a fan of that entire line, honestly. Same with fucking this lame ass Pokemon right here. This evolution gets another trip to B tier. Not a fan. These are all extras. We put them in the extra tier. And again, for the extras like Deoxys, for cast form, for like the extras that aren't Gigantamax or like fucking Pikachu wearing a bunch of hats, these ranks will be represented by where the regular Pokemon is. And I would put Rotom in the C tier. And these are going to go in the F tier. For a game that had so many cool Pokemon, like you saw how many C, B, and A tiers there were from Gen 4. For a game that has that many dope Pokemon, these 3 are flops. This is supposed to be a legendary trio for this game, in a game full of awesome Pokemon, and this is what we got. A couple of fucking, I don't need like these are terrible. They're like I don't know. They're not cool. Origin Dialga is ugly as all hell. Origin Palkia, however, is a little better. But let's get to the real ranking. Regular Dialga can get a respectable C tier. And big boy Palkia actually goes all the way up to B tier. Like, look at this. Look how many. If you want to get an idea of how many cool Pokemon are in Gen 4, look at this. 3 in A tier, tied for number 1 with Gen 3. Of fucking this many in B tier. How many in this tier? Starting with Turtwig, that many. This whole 2 rows. And it had just as many F tiers as any other region, but I don't know. Like, I just feel like speaking of F tier, that's going F tier. Regigigas barely gets a D tier. Just a lame, terrible fucking ability as well. Giratina, this form. I'm actually going to put this form in the extra category. And again, this one rank will represent both forms. Of course, it gets a B tier. Because of that, spoiler alert for Legends Arceus, that Volo fucking battle, probably one of the coolest things in Pokemon ever. That entire battle. This might surprise you. Darkrai is fucking terrible. Shaman as well. The back half of this Gen 4 decks really, like, these legendaries should not have been in the game. They're so bad. Like this fucking, like, Cresselia included. They're so bad. Arceus and get a B tier. No, he's actually gonna get a C tier. I actually hate Arceus, to be honest. He can join shitty Dialga down here. Victini, F tier. However, let's Pokemon Masters. The Victini unit in Pokemon Masters is like, that's probably like one of my favorite units to use. So we'll actually put it up here. Out of respect for the game gives you a one tier buff at most. Snivy, this entire fucking line. Let's talk about this. I'm actually like, we're gonna do this. All 9 starters from this fucking game, this one not included, are garbage. I would put Samurott up to D tier, but it's not worth it. Let's talk about this. We talked previously that Gen 3 and Gen 4, those starters are some of the best of all time. Like, in terms of like how strong is the entire the lineup of the 3, you can't beat them. Like those gens, Ruby, Sapphire, Diamond, Pearl, the starters in that game are crazy. They're all winners. Then you go into this one, Black and White. It's like, what were they thinking? These are all terrible. Again, Samurott I would put up to maybe D tier, but it's not worth it. Now there's this Samurott from Legends Arceus. I'll put that in D tier, but that's it. So far, Black and White are off to a horrendous start, and it's not going to get any better anytime soon because Patrat is garbage. This line is garbage. Oh, it's looking really bad, actually. There's going to be a lot of F tiers in this, I can already see. Again, I recently played my first ever Nuzlocke in Pokemon Black, or White version, on stream. Of course, I lost, but that's got nothing to do with why I'm putting these guys so low. These are just terrible. Oh my god. Everything's F tier. And listen, I even explained this on stream. Okay, finally we're going to get to a few that are not F tier. I explained this on stream that everyone hates Black and White. I used to hate Black and White as well. But in recent times, I realized I think everyone's being a little too harsh on that game, on that generation. I think it's a fine generation. But these Pokemon, oh my god. Starting with the fucking starter, all the way to this one here, they're all terrible. They're all F tier. This is not how you make a Pokedex. They're so bad. The game itself, I think, is great. Honestly, including Black 2 and White 2. I haven't actually finished it. I have it. I have the actual like DS cartridge of it that I started to play. It was $120 on eBay, and I still haven't finished the game like a year later, 2 years later even. So the games themselves, I think, are fine. They get a lot more flack than they need to, but oh my god, this many F tiers. This is an unbroken streak of F tiers. In fact, the only Pokemon that I didn't immediately put in F tier, that I put in D tier, was from Legends Arceus, and it's a variant of the Pokemon. Actually, Victini, I guess, was the first Pokemon, but that was gonna be an F tier, but because the Pokemon Masters unit, I bumped it up. So really, these two notwithstanding, this should have been an F tier, and this isn't technically from that game. That notwithstanding, the first however many Pokemon this is, from number 1 to number whatever Unpheasant is, are all garbage, all F tier. This is why Black and White have a bad name. This is why Gen 5 is hated so much, because these Pokemon are terrible. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Here we go, though. Finally, we get out of the garbage category. These Electric type Zebras are cool. Really cool, in fact. So cool that I'm going to put that in B tier, because Gen 5 needs some kind of break. If I'm not going to be lenient now, when am I going to be lenient? Here we go. Roggenrola. Pretty cool. Up there with Blitzel. Unfortunately, this is going to get at best a D tier, and that's me being nice because of the I'm a big fan of Gigalith. The shiny Gigalith. I have one on Pokemon Go. Shiny Gigalith is really cool. It's blue. It's got blue crystals on it. All right, back to the F tiers we go. We had a short break from the F tiers. I'm actually gonna say Excadrill. I can't say that name. He can get actually a C tier. Is Clay, the gym leader that uses him? I just like that character. F tier. F tier. Here we go. The Gen 5 version of Machop can get the same rank as Machop, I believe, right? Or did he actually get a higher? He actually got a higher rank than Machop, funnily enough, because Machop is down here. He's up here. I'm fine with that. He's carrying a piece of wood. At least he's not carrying nothing like Machop. All right. This evolution can also be in the same version. And I actually like this guy carrying around 2 big ass pieces of concrete. So I'm going to put him up here with Rogan Rolla. All right. Trash Seismitoad can actually go to D tier. These two, what were they thinking? These as well. Pure, unadulterated garbage. I'm gonna put this preemptively in F tier, but this guy can actually get a D tier. And you might be surprised, this is the saving grace of like these three, actually. Like these 3 dope ass Pokemon are the saving grace of the Gen 5 right now, because there's so many F tiers, but there are actually some that are making it up to as far as B tier. Will we see anybody that goes in A tier? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. I actually can't remember who's next. Oh, actually there is a Pokemon that I will be putting in A tier. Little spoiler alert, but for now, this is actually another F tier. It's just a fucking ball of cotton, isn't it? like, what do you want to do? There's too many fucking grass types in this game. Basculin, straight trash. This guy, trash. The evolution is a little bit better. Actually, again, out of respect, it would be D tier, but I'll put it in C tier because in Scarlet and Violet, I have one of these on my competitive team that I play sometimes. I don't play competitive often, but I do have a competitive team, and I always lead with this crocodile. So out of respect, it goes into C tier. There's a lot of out of respect rankings, like Pokemon Masters, or like if I use them on my competitive team. This straight up, every one of these is just terrible. I don't even know what the hell this thing is. Does anyone know what this is? I've never seen this thing before. I assume it's... My voice keeps cracking. I assume it's part of this evolution line, but I've never seen that thing before. Maybe it's the sleeping version of this guy? I don't know. I'm not... This is just a worse version of Cacnea, by the way. All right. I actually fuck with this Pokemon. Up to D tier, at least. Crustle can actually get a C tier. Doing good for Gen 5 so far. Scrafty and its fucking evolution are terrible. Sligalith actually gets a pretty high tier, up to C. And here's where we get into some interesting stuff. Well, maybe actually. Where's the version of this? Wait, I gotta find that real quick. Yeah, this needs to be... Why is this not... I would consider this like this is just the version of this. Like I know it's got a different name, but I'm gonna consider this the regional variant, just like this is a regional variant of Yanmask. These are cool. And even the Yanmask part is cool. Even like the pre-evolution can get up to a C tier. And let me tell you, you're gonna be proud. You're gonna be proud of Gen 5. I had that whole rant about how... Dub, check this out. Gen 5, starting with Snivy, which is the first Pokemon in that Pokedex, unbroken streak, all the way up to Unpheasant, got F tier. These are unbroken. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 uninterrupted F tiers for Gen 5. And I don't mean like, oh, like there wasn't a single D tier or higher for the first 27 Pokemon in this Gen 5. That's why people hate it so much. The Pokemon fucking suck. But I'll put this version of Cockagrigis all the way up to B tier. And regular Cofagrigus can actually go up to C tier. I need to get a capture card first before we can do that, Dub. But also, I was looking that up, Dub. I don't think it's like it's not like full multiplayer. Like you can only like link up and like explore a route or something. Like you might look into it, like look up like what the Scarlet and Violet multiplayer is, because when I was reading it, it didn't seem like what I was expecting it to be. By the way, this fossil Pokemon can get a respectable D tier, and its evolution will actually get a C tier. Oh, it's okay. So you have looked into it. I was a little confused when I was reading about it. All right, this might surprise this might surprise the folks at home. I'm gonna put actually Archen and Archeops get a pretty high ranking from me. Yeah, if I ever get a capture card, I would 100% be down. Because I actually have I have a ton of oh wait, I gotta put this in extra tier. I have a ton of strong ass Pokemon for like raids, like that I specifically made for raids. Of course, the trash bag Pokemon goes in the trash tier. I know it's a joke to make fun of this Pokemon, but it just genuinely is a trash Pokemon. This guy as well. People seem to like this Pokemon a lot. I don't in the slightest. I think it's lame. Oh, okay, Dub, gotcha. This as well. It's trash tiered. Actually, we're gonna have another quick run here of nothing but F tiers. And explain this to me. After I put these in, I'm gonna ask a question here. Anyone watching, explain this. All 6 of these Pokemon, they're immediately like it is an unbroken streak here. This is number like whatever, like this isn't true, but like number 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, and 75, right? They're unbroken. They're right next to each other in the Pokedex. Why are they all psychic type? Why wouldn't this type be dark? No, they're actually psychic type. You'd assume they'd be dark just because of the way they look. And you'd assume that, like, okay, it's fine that these guys are psychic. Why do we need 2 back-to-back 3-stage psychic evolutions? It's asinine. It's absurd. By the way, these 2 are trash. I'm gonna put these guys in trash tier as well. Not for the reason that, like, I know everyone, again, when people complain about Gen 5, it's mostly they talk about the trash Pokemon and the ice cream Pokemon. I'm not one of those people. Like, I'm not saying Gen 1 had the greatest Pokemon design. In fact, look how many Gen 1 Pokemon made it into the trash tier, including Charmeleon and Mega Charizard and Wartortle. But look how many bad Pokemon there were, all the way up to all the way up to Mega Mewtwo. Yeah, well, here's Mew actually. This guy's in the wrong area. He should be like he should be up here. But look how many trash Gen 1 Pokemons. You know? Like, I'm not saying Gen 5 had the worst Pokemon of all time, but these specific ones are actual garbage. Now I'm going to put some of these in the extra tier, of course. So I don't rank. I'm not going to waste my time ranking the individual forms here. The rank that they get is indicative of the entire set, including all of the regional forms. This thing's fucking terrible. Carablast is cool enough to get a D tier at least. And this thing right here is awesome. I'm actually gonna get this a B tier. I love this thing. Steel bug type, I think. Actually, where is this tier list? Oh, here it is. I'm gonna rank these right now. Shelmet can also get a D tier. I know I'm ranking these out of order, but I consider these 2 to be like paired. And I'll actually give Exceligor up here to C tier. Trash right here. Trash. 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 We're trashing all the way up to Joltik. Because Joltik is kind of cool. Like C tier level cool, I think. Now how about the evolution that I forget the name of? Electros? No, that's not Electros. I'll actually give this thing a B tier. I'm a big fan of that. Garvantula is the name. I just remembered. Galvantula. All right, Ferroseed. Trash, but its evolution I'm actually a pretty big fan of. So we'll go all the way up to C tier for this. But the pre-evolution, just as bad as that Pinecone Pokemon. It's just a fucking egg with spikes on it. Clink. This whole line is pure trash. Another household appliance line. I'm gonna put these two in F tier just because I'm lazy, but the evolution actually gets way up here at a B tier. Tyranitar ranked up here in B tier, dub. He's way up here. And I'll tell you this, dub, B tier is basically like A tier is very limited on what I'm willing to put in here. In fact, Typhlosion is an A tier actually. He's one of the very few that made it into A tier. Originally he wasn't. Originally Nidoking and Typhlosion were down in B tier. And it was Venusaur was the first in A tier, and I didn't put another Pokemon in A tier until Sceptile. But upon review, I kind of went back through and added these two in because I felt bad that there was no Gen 2 Pokemon in there, and Typhlosion definitely deserves an A tier. So I did go back and amend that a little bit. We're still waiting to see if any of these shit tier Pokemon from Gen 5 will actually make the cut into A tier. So far not. Here's another shit tier Pokemon right here. Okay. Now we're getting into somewhere. Litwick. This whole line is actually really cool. This one, not so much. I'm actually putting this in, like, that's kind of really shitty mid-evolution. Chandelure, really cool Pokemon. I'll go as far as a B tier. Again, B tier is kind of like our semi-ceiling. Like, not a lot of people get past, like, you saw how limited the A tier was. Shinies, I don't know what most of the shinies look like, honestly. I don't ever catch shinies. These guys are gonna go to C tier. Haxorus, I'm a big fan of as well. Can you believe that Haxorus is not a, what do you call it? Haxorus is not a pseudo legendary for the longest time. Oh, it's just a normal orange. That's kind of funny. For the longest time, I thought Haxorus was a pseudo legendary. It turns out he's not. He's just a regular ass 3-stage Pokemon. He's still gonna get a B tier though. Beartic and whatever this other smaller version of Beartic is are gonna get pretty low rankings out of me. They're pretty bad. Crognole as well. These shitty fish, land fish Pokemon. This wannabe dragon type. I know it is a dragon type, but it's kind of shitty. This guy actually gets a pretty high ranking, all the way up to C tier. You know what? This dragon type is all right. I'll give it a D tier. But here is finally, we're gonna get it. We've been waiting to see if Gen 5 will have a ranked Pokemon. Yes, it will. I am a big fan of Golurk, and it's gonna get an A rank out of me. The only, I assume at least, the only Pokemon from Gen 5 to make it to A tier is gonna be Golurk. I don't think anything else is gonna make it, unless I'm forgetting something. Like unless there's just something I didn't see. Pawniard, pretty cool. And Bisharp, however you say that, Bisharp, it can go to C tier. Now, Buffalo, another one of these really shitty normal types, as well as these here, including the version from the Switch game. I am not a fan. I'm actually gonna, I'll up it to D tier just because it gives you the ability to fly in that game, and that's pretty vital. All right. Don't know why these exist, but they're going straight to fucking hell. Straight to F tier. I'll put this thing to D tier. That's not that bad. There's been plenty worse. Durant, why do you have to exist? Umbreon rating, let's find out. I think Umbreon got actually pretty high in the ratings. Let's find out. Umbreon is in B tier. Oh, and also the ghost type Typhlosion is in B tier. I kept it in B tier. I was gonna put it in A tier instead of regular Typhlosion, but I felt bad because technically, like my dilemma of putting Typhlosion in A tier was because we didn't have anything representing gold and silver in A tier yet. So if I put this ghost type Typhlosion in there, that's actually not from gold and silver. That's from a much later game. So I would have felt pretty bad putting it there. So that's why I put regular Typhlosion here. Nope, that's not what I wanted. You go back down here. The S tier has not been touched yet, by the way, and I don't know if it ever will be. Here we go. These are another couple pretty cool Pokemon here. I'm not sure if we'll ever get a S tier Pokemon. What I might do at the end, if we've never had an S tier Pokemon, you're supposed to be a tier up here. If we don't have a genuine S tier Pokemon, by the end, I will choose one of the A tier Pokemon to stand out above the rest and be our only S tier representative. S tier is the highest rank, like the very highest. It's above A. Again, I'm currently using A as like the best of the best tier, and B is like the catch-all for like really cool Pokemon that I would love to put in A tier, but they just don't make the cut. And S tier is currently not being touched. I don't know if there will be a Pokemon that goes into S tier organically. So that's why I'm saying, if we get to the end and we haven't had an S tier Pokemon, we'll choose an A tier Pokemon. We might do it by poll if we have anybody in the chat, or I might just choose it myself. Be the singular S tier representative. Gyarados is... Where is Gyarados actually? I think I might have Gyarados at C tier. Oh no, okay, here's Mega Gyarados. Oh no, actually Gyarados is in B tier. Where's he at? Yeah, Gyarados is in B tier. Yeah, again, he's pretty far up there. Larvesta, pretty cool. Volcrona gets the same rank as Larvesta. And when I say pretty cool, I mean cool enough to get to D tier. Honestly, these three are disappointing ass legendaries. I'm not a fan at all of these three. Same with these. You can all go here. Landorus too. These genies, okay. I'll tell you this much. I don't think it's fair for these to be in, you know, this low ranked. I'm actually going to do this because these are just different forms. They can go in the extra tier. So I'm going to move these up to D tier because they deserve a little better than that. At least these two. These two are kind of cool. This one, not so much. He's ugly ass green color. These three can stay in F tier. Here we go. This legendary is going all the way up to B tier. This legendary is actually going to C tier. He's not quite as cool. And I'm going to put these guys in the extra tier. You know? Because they're kind of just extra versions. This one can be in the C tier as well. This is definitely F tier. Too many fucking legendaries in this game. F tier. Now, we're getting close to the end here, actually. Wait. I guess there aren't that many Pokemon in... Is there not that many Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet? Am I crazy, or are they missing some Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet? Is it really just this many? They have to be missing some. What the hell? I feel like I'm going crazy. They had more, right? I guess not. Because X and Y have quite a few Pokemon. Sun and Moon. I guess not very many. I guess the later generations just don't have that many Pokemon, which I'm fine with. Less for me to rank. I am gonna go to a quick BRB. The problem is becoming like, to get above the F tier, I have to like really scroll up, which is a little bit annoying. The extra tier, by the way, this is why the extra tier was made, because there's fucking 20 different Pikachus just wearing different hats. That's why I had to make an extra tier. I'm gonna go to a quick BRB. And we will get back to ranking them in just a few minutes. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay, we're back. You might notice you might notice it looks a little bit different. The tier list. Basically, to fix the issue, I zoomed out the web page a bunch, but in doing so, I made it pretty squished, unfortunately. Because I also want to like make sure the ads from this, like you see there's like an ad there. Maybe if I like only do half the ad and then like stretch it out like that, that's fine. Can you still see like what's happening on the screen if I do that? Like, can you still make out what's going on? I think that looks fine. All right. Yeah, the reason I wanted to zoom out is because like, look how far I have to scroll to get to the, like, to get to D tier. Like, that's just how much space F tier is taking up. Chest spin though. We're into X and Y territory now. These will get D tiers. Chestnut, the third evolution, grass starter, is actually gonna get a C tier. I think chestnut's pretty cool. This whole line, straight up trash. F tiers all around. And it's gonna surprise a lot of people, but also this tier is absolute garbage. That's an extra. I hate these three. These six, actually. These six are fucking terrible. These guys too. Okay, once again, I mentioned this earlier. If you're gonna make a bird Pokemon, at least make it look cool. This is one of those situations where the bird Pokemon actually does look cool. So much so that they're all three going to get a pretty high ranking. This should have been the fire starter, honestly. The other fire starter's terrible. The actual one's awful. All right, F tiers for these. This thing's okay, but like, there's just, I feel like there's too many fire Pokemon in this region, in this Pokedex. These will all get D tiers. All right, starting off with more trash here. I don't think anyone's ever gonna beat that 27 Pokemon streak that Gen 5 had, where they were all trash tier. Because at least there's a couple of really cool Pokemon, you know, sprinkled here and there in every other region. You know, you don't have too many trash tiers. Like here, we're about to be on a roll of trash tier, but oh wait, here's this line, which is actually pretty cool. We didn't have that in black and white. They were just 19 unbroken, 27, however that means, like 27 unbroken terrible Pokemon. I'm gonna count this as an extra, and I'm actually gonna give this guy as far up as a B tier. Wonder if we'll have any A tier Pokemon from this region. Actually, I know we will, and I know which one it's going to be. Oh, these are all bad right now. I'll actually give this thing a D tier. Slightly cooler. Skrelp and its evolution Dragalge. I'll actually give up to a B tier for Dragalge. I'm a big fan of the type combination of poison and dragon, so it gets a pass from me. This thing will actually get a C tier. All right, I'll give this thing a C tier as well as the evolution. Both get a C tier. I like the shrimp that it's made after, the bullet shrimp or whatever it's called. That when it clamps its pincher, it makes a massive like explosive noise or whatever. It's called, I forget what kind of shrimp it is, but it's called like a bullet shrimp or something. It's a really cool animal to base a Pokemon off of. I'm glad they did. This thing, by the way, Heliolisk, Pretty big fan. I'll give it a C tier. All right, we're getting close now to the Pokemon Mantis Shrimp. Yes, thank you. It is a Mantis Shrimp that I'm thinking of. I don't know how I got Bullet Shrimp. Yeah, that one. Exactly. One that can break bones. This Pokemon, we'll get up to a B tier. Dragon Rock. Pretty cool type combination. Not quite as cool as this one, though. Here, well, let me take a step back here and take a look at what we're dealing with. Just to make sure I'm confident with my choice. I believe I am confident, yeah. The Pokemon that I'm choosing to be an A tier out of this region is going to be this one. Ice Rock. And it's based off a pretty cool dinosaur. So I'm giving this one an A tier. The only Pokemon I think that I'm going to be putting in an A tier out of X and Y is this one right here. Again, if you take a look, Gen 1 actually had 2 representatives of A tier. Gen 2, after some deliberation, actually ended up with 1 instead of 0. Gen 3 though had 3. Like I didn't fudge the numbers or anything. They just organically got A tier, as well as these 3 from Gen 4 as well. These 3 were in for free, and then since X and Y and Black and White now, they only have singular entries. That's not what I wanted. They only got singular entries in this tier now. So a little bit disappointing in the later generations here. Again, we had 3 for Gen 3 and 3 for Gen 4. So, you know, do better, Pokemon. Here's Sylveon. Not a huge fan. Put it down there. Not a fan of this at all. A lot of people really like that Pokemon. I don't get it. I kind of hate it. This thing, terrible. Terrible. Sliggoo and its evolutions are bad up until you get to this Pokemon right here. The one I'm shaking around. This is from Legends Arceus, the Switch game. Not X and Y itself, but it's a Pokemon that was made for, like, redesigned for the Switch game Legends Arceus that came out. You know, the one where it was kind of like you throw in the Pokeballs and all that. I'm putting this in B tier because this Pokemon is the only reason I actually beat Volo in the Giratina battle in that game. This Pokemon saved my ass with its ability, or its special move. I forget what it's called. Something shell, some kind of shell move. Very, very powerful defensive Pokemon. The only reason I beat Volo, and that's a great fight. If you have not played Legends Arceus, I just spoiled a lot for you. But tell me in the comments and in the Twitch chat. Did you like that fight as much as I did? I think that was an awesome fight. This is obviously getting a fucking F tier. This thing, I actually kind of like this thing. It's kind of goofy, but its evolution loses the goofiness and tries to be scary, and in doing so, it's neither goofy or scary. It's just trash. Unfortunate. As are these two things right here. I kind of like what they're going for. A Halloween type Pokemon. Kind of trying for a horror. You know, they take a lot of inspiration from animals and try and make everything cute. They try to go based off of horror here. It just doesn't work. I think they could have gone a lot harder in terms of going for the horror aspect. Really put some gruesome stuff on there instead of making it a gourd with a face. It's like a jack-o'-lantern, but even dumber. Not a fan, but I like the idea. A little bit, put a little more juice into it. You know, like this haunted tree. Not a bad idea. They just didn't do enough, I think. This Pokemon, this ice type, I'm a big fan of ice types in general, but this one just doesn't really do it for me. This is the Legends Arceus version, which is actually one of the big Pokemon you can fight. Not really a fan of that. And I'm actually going to put, this is Avalugg. I'm going to put this into C tier, just with its, just with the same tier as the Legends Arceus type. This thing, I'm actually going to give a pretty high ranking, back to C tier, actually. And the evolution of it is going to get, honestly, I'm going to give that a B tier. I'm a big fan of this this Noivern, or whatever it's called. I think that's the name. Big fan of it. Not a big fan of this at all. Shit tier legendary. The legendary from Y will actually get a C tier out of me. Not, well, no. Putting that in F tier is a little too harsh. I'm gonna match it to this one. I think they're a good pair, but I think they're good as a pair, but they're both individually suck. So when you put them together, they only get up to a C tier. These are extras. I'm gonna put these two in the extra tier. And again, when I rank this Pokemon Zygarde, these two are with it. You know, they match whatever rank it. This one form, the standard form, is representative of all three of them. So when I rank it, I'm actually gonna rank it pretty well into a B tier because, again, in Pokemon Masters, the game, this unit is pretty cracked. At least not now, not at the time of me making this. When it came out, it was one of the best damage dealing units in the game. So you gotta show a little respect and put it up a little bit higher. And also, it's a pretty cool Pokemon. These I'm not a fan of, and there's a specific reason I'm putting all of these in shit tier, because they did one of these things where they released these event Pokemon after the game came out and nobody ever got them. So not a fan of that whatsoever. They all get shit tier out of me. Now on to Sun and Moon. We're getting close to the end here. You can see we're getting there. I don't know why this thing is actually way down here. It shouldn't be. This thing as well, I think, shouldn't be down here. Like this thing is from Sword and Shield. I don't know why it's all the way down here. Well, let's continue. We're getting near the end. Rowlet. I'm a big fan of Rowlet. And this whole evolutionary line, it'll get a B, or a C rather. This evolution, however, is fucking terrible. Now this is from Legends Arceus. This is another thing. You might be surprised. This is actually going to get an A tier. You heard it right. But wait, there's more. Because the regular version of this Pokemon will also get an A tier. Yeah, it's like this is true. This is what's happening. Both versions of this Pokemon are cool enough to go in A tier. Are you surprised? I'm a little bit surprised by my own actions there. That I was just doing that out of feeling. I kind of like what I've done here. Having and technically, I'm going to kind of reverse the order here. You can make the argument that, oh look, it's two Pokemon from Sun and Moon. Not the case. This Pokemon is from Sun and Moon, yes. This Pokemon is from Legends Arceus. They're two different games, and I'm going to count them as two different entries. So really, Sun and Moon, so far at least, only has one entry that gets into the A tier. So don't get too excited. This is a disappointing evolution, because this Pokemon and its evolution, this cat here, had a lot of potential if they would have stayed on the ground, but of course they had to stand it up and make it into a wrestler. Not a fan at all. Trash tier for that guy. And this whole line, I think is terrible. I think this line is pretty shit, honestly. Okay, here's another example I've talked about earlier. I've talked about a few times now. If you're gonna make a bird Pokemon, make it cool at least. They've done that here. Not necessarily this, like, I'm gonna put this in D tier because so far it just looks like a regular bird. This one as well. It's got a funky looking beak, but so far it's just a regular bird. This, however, has a heated beak. You can see it when it attacks, it heats up its beak. That's gonna get a C tier out of me. Again, if you're gonna make a bird Pokemon, you gotta make it cool. You gotta make it unique. All right, that's an F tier. Now, I mentioned earlier Vikavolt. I said we were talking about Luxio and Shinx, and I said, name another Pokemon like Luxio where you can catch the evolution on the first or second round of the game, like, and have a really cool Pokemon late game. That just doesn't happen. You know, you can't catch a really, like, my whole point there was you can't catch a really cool Pokemon that early on in any other game. This might be an exception. You can actually catch this Grubbin pretty early on. And it evolves. Oop, I put it in the wrong spot. Where did that go? It evolves into something pretty damn cool. This Vikavolt. This, not cool, but it makes a cool noise, so we'll put it in D tier. Along with Grubbin. But this Vikavolt is going all the way up to B tier. I find Vikavolt to be a pretty damn good bug type. Probably out of all the bug types, the early route bug types in the games, starting with Caterpie and Metapod and that kind of thing, and Beedrill and Butterfree, that whole, like, you know, how every game has their version of the Route 1 bug type or the Route whatever bug type, this has got to be the coolest one. It's getting a pretty high ranking out of me. Not a big fan of this at all. Or these, and what I'm gonna do is put these in the extra tier. And again, this one will represent, it doesn't matter because they're all shit anyway, but you know what I mean. Another F tier. Not the biggest fan of these, honestly. And these, by the way, are extra types, so we'll put those in the extra. But again, just remember that this one rank represents all three of these combined. This one ranking. We'll put it in C tier. A little higher than I wanted to put it, but I can't deny having three types is a pretty cool gimmick. This thing, F tier. Not a fan of the whole, like, oh, let's bring a bunch of fish together and be a fucking Gyarados. I'll actually put in D tier because why not? F tier is getting a little crowded anyway. Okay, here's something. I'm putting this thing in F tier just because it looks dumb. This is another Pokemon I mentioned earlier, just like Crocodile. It only gets as high of a rank as it does because I have it on my competitive team. You know, in the rare occasion where I would do competitive battles in Sun and Moon, and even to this day now, I've got one of these, and it is a pretty damn good Pokemon to have out front. You can put some, you do some like toxic, like poison strats, so it gets a pretty high rank out of me just for that. This thing, shit tier. Evolution, pretty nice actually. I'll actually go all the way up to a C tier for that. Now, I hate this with every fiber of my being. Like, this is just a shitty fucking, like, what is this? These as well, not cool. Just in general, don't like them. As well as these, a couple of mushrooms. Not the coolest combination of, like, they're not the coolest idea for Pokemon. I know I gave Paris a pretty high ranking earlier. Remember, I gave Parasect an F as well. So I'm being consistent here. I like these. I like the idea that, you know, in the wild, only the female can actually turn into this one, and it's rare to find a female. That kind of gimmick. I like gimmicks like that where it's like, oh, you have to be very specific to get the cooler version of this Pokemon. So I'm going to give them a C tier just based on that. It's not always based on look. Sometimes it's based on what's the story in the game. What kind of moves do they have? Are they good? Lot goes into this. Most of the time, it's just me not liking the Pokemon. Like these, we're about to go on a tangent of giving F tiers here. This guy, I'll give him a D tier. He's slightly cooler. A little monkey with a ball. You get an F tier. You look really cool, but you can't ever use this guy in a battle, so he only gets up to a C tier. I don't like this ghost type sandcastle at all, or this thing. A lot of people are gonna be mad that I'm putting this in F tier as well, but I'm just not a fan of this. Like the amount of work you have to put in to get this thing, like you have to get it. It's rare to get it because it's like connected to the story. You gotta level it up a bunch of times. Just not a fan of it. I know I mentioned that, like, oh, sometimes the story in the game, but this is a story I'm not a fan of because it's just fucking cheesy. Like Sun and Moon in general, weak ass story. Not a fan at all. This koala also gets an F tier. Here we go. This Pokemon right here can actually get up to a B tier or C tier. Sorry. Again, Pikachu clone. Not a fan of it. Really hate. Okay, I'm making a new tier actually. Hold on. This tier, garbage tier. This is actually the garbage tier. F tier is no longer, I'm not going to be calling F tier garbage tier anymore. I'm making a tier just for this Pokemon. This is my least favorite Pokemon of all time. For the simple reason, A, it's annoying to battle against because it has the fucking free hit, but I absolutely hate how many people love this Pokemon because it does like if I go on this tangent, we're gonna be here for 30 minutes, but I just hate the cult following this Pokemon has. It's such a lame Pokemon, and so many people like it. It drives me crazy. It gets its own garbage tier. F tier, gets a little more respect for not having this piece of shit in the mix with them. So give these garbage tier F tier Pokemon a little respect. This thing gets its own shit tier, the garbage tier. Capital G garbage. You get an F tier. Normal type dragon, I'm actually a big fan of the idea, but they just didn't execute it as well as I really thought they should have. So this thing will actually get a C tier. Could have been higher had they done a little more with it. This thing is just a fucking anchor. Like it's an anchor. Fighting Dragon, this is the pseudo legendary of this region. I'm a pretty big fan of the final evolution, but the first two evolutions are a little weak if you ask me. Oop. You go down there. Now, this final evolution, Komodo, something, will actually get a B tier. I'm a pretty big fan of the type combination, and it has a. I've been kind of keeping up with like, oh, which of these has a Pokemon Masters equivalent? It does have a Pokemon Masters equivalent, but it's kind of shit. When it came out, it was all right, but it's been power crept to hell, and it's a shit Pokemon now. These four, I'm not a fan of at all. These two, I'm not a fan of because they broke the convention that legendary Pokemon don't evolve. Like all of a sudden, oh look, legendary Pokemon do evolve. Sun and Moon was terrible. The more I think about it, it was terrible. Oh, okay, Dub. That Moltres has already been ranked because for some reason, whoever made this tier list, like, template, I guess you'd call it, actually had it listed next to the actual Moltres. I put it in C tier. I meant to put it in B tier. It goes up here. I'll actually put it like here. And the regular Moltres actually got put down here in C tier. It's cool and all, and hey, it does have a Pokemon Masters equivalent, and it's pretty damn cracked, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. The Zapdos is actually much better. This fighting type Zapdos, I like it a lot better than this Moltres. And how about this, where's this at? I think I put it down here. I should have at least. Yeah, the Articuno, the Psychic type Articuno is D tier because it's fucking garbage. Honestly, it's a miracle I didn't put an F tier. I only didn't put an F tier because out of respect for the actual Articuno. Following suit, I don't like the idea that legendary Pokemon have to evolve or can evolve, so these two get a shit tier as well as every single Ultra Beast except for one notable exception. I'm gonna make an exception for one Ultra Beast that I'm not gonna put here, but for the most part, I fucking hate the Ultra Beasts. They're bad. This is the Ultra Beast that I'm gonna put pretty high up because I use this on my competitive team against the Battle Tree in Sun and Moon. This thing is fucking crazy. You get Beast Boost attack, that thing fucking cooks. Now here's Necrozma. It'll actually get a D tier instead of an F tier because in the original Sun and Moon, not Ultra Sun and Moon, I didn't ever play Ultra Sun and Moon, so that might explain why I have a lot of disdain for the Ultra Beast. Maybe I didn't play the game where they were really allowed to shine, but I had no interest in it. I hated Sun and Moon so much that I didn't want to play Ultra Sun and Moon, so I didn't. But in Sun and Moon, Necrozma doesn't have some dumbass plot behind it. It's just a powerful ass Pokemon. It's like Mewtwo. It's a powerful ass Pokemon that you can find near the beginning of the game at 10 Carat Hill, just like in Cerulean Cave with Mewtwo. So I'm giving that actually a C tier. I'm actually going to bump it up. Now that I've gone off on a tangent, I like it even more. But obviously, the stuff that happens in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I've seen I've seen videos of people playing it. I think it's dumb as hell. The whole Ultra Beast thing I hate. Also, these suck. It's another one of these fucking event Pokemon deals. Here's more Ultra Beasts, by the way. Oh look, this thing evolves. Who fucking cares? More Ultra Beasts. Another one of these event legendaries. Not interested. This thing is from Pokemon Go. This is an extra tier. This is from Pokemon Go. I actually, in Sword and Shield, they give you one of these for free. So I'm gonna put it up there just because like you can use it. It's a level 100 they give you for free, which I think is pretty cool. All right, on to Sword and Shield now. We're actually getting very close to the end. of our journey here of ranking all of these. I'm a pretty big fan. Let me put I'm gonna put these big fucking ugly ass Dynamaxes in here because I'm not a fan of these, and they all go in extra tier anyway. Here's an extra tier. There's too many of these. Jesus Christ. I'm sure like I'll catch them as we go along. This grass type starter I think is pretty cool. Kind of the only starter worth having in that generation. The middle evolution as usual sucks. Final evolution I might even put up to a B tier. And maybe we'll see if Sun and Moon even, or sorry, we'll see if Sword and Shield even gets an S tier, or even gets an A tier rather. I can tell you this won't be it. This is an F tier. And both of these other starters are going to be F tier. They made it too humanoid. You know what I'm saying? Like, this thing fucking plays soccer. This thing has a gun. Give me a break. I'm not a fan of that at all. And I know I saw that there's a video where it's like, oh, conventionally, the water type always has a weapon. No, Blastoise has cannons, but that's part of his fucking body. Feraligatr has teeth. Again, that's part of his body. Mudkip, or Swampert, he's got big fucking arms as part of his body. What do you mean? Like, this thing does not need a gun. Get out of here with that bullshit. That's not meant to go in that tier, but I misclicked. I'm actually going to put this thing in that tier. It's middle evolution in D tier as well, but the final evolution is going to get a pretty high ranking. In fact, I'm going to put it all the way up to C tier. Corviknight is a pretty cool Pokemon. I actually have a really cool Corviknight Pokemon card. I'm not a huge Pokemon card collector, but I do have a couple packs, and in one of them I got a really cool Corviknight Pokemon card. So I've got a little bit of a soft spot for that. And here's the thing with this now. This Pokemon I'm a huge fan of. This is an extra tier. Not so much these two. I'm going to put these two, well, I'm only putting them in F tier because I'm too lazy to scroll all the way up. I'd actually put these two in C tier, especially this Dottler Pokemon. I use this Pokemon in my Sword and Shield playthrough. Just a reminder for anyone who doesn't know, I actually got Sword and Shield like a full 4 years after it came out. I didn't have a Switch at the time, so I had to wait a long ass time to play it. And let me tell you, this is one of the cooler bug type Pokemon. I mentioned earlier that Vikavolt was probably the coolest bug type Pokemon. This Pokemon right here gives it a run for its money. They're both pretty damn cool bug types. Like early route bug types. You know, like every game has their version of that. Not a fan of these at all. Don't even know what the hell these two are, I'm gonna be honest. Don't like this. Or this. This is an extra. Not a fan. Not a fan. Here we go. Now we get into something that is possibly A tier. I'm gonna put its pre-evolutions in C tier, but it's gonna be a bit of a discussion here if this thing gets into A tier or not. I was a big fan of this when I initially played that game. I'm gonna put this in A tier. I'm actually a pretty big fan of this. This Pokemon is kind of dope, I'm gonna be honest. This one, not so much. I think this is extra. And these can all go here. Well, this one's at least a bit of a standout. I'll put it up there in D tier. Not a huge fan of this at all. Or this bird. Or this shitty little fish. And, by the way, I'm gonna break my promise. Something is gonna be joining this Pokemon down here in garbage tier. It's actually gonna be this. It might surprise you, and not for the reasons you're thinking. The type combination of electric and poison is fucking cool. No doubt about it. But the name that they gave this Pokemon ruins it for me. They just stuck 2 words together and thought that was good enough. And yes, I know that's 99% of Pokemon names, but the words they chose to use and the way they stuck them together leaves a bad taste in my mouth. They're going in garbage tier. I think the name alone lowers it to this Pokemon standard. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting them anything other than F or garbage tier just based on that name alone. I'm usually like, I like that Pokemon. It's got a cool ass type combination. It's got 2 different forms, that kind of thing. But that name takes a lot away from it. It just gave it such a shit name. One of these has to go in extra tier, by the way. They gave it a terrible name. That's enough for me to put it there. I know that's pretty shallow, but I mean, it's such a stupid fucking name. You gotta have some kind of you can't get away with having that dumb of a name. You know what I'm saying? This octopus Pokemon's all right. The Pokemon Masters, again, Pokemon Masters version of this Pokemon is goated in my opinion. Actually, I should do a whole fucking video on Pokemon Masters, because a lot of people hate the Pokemon Masters unit that this Pokemon's in. I use this thing all the fucking time. It's super useful. I don't know what people are talking about when they're like, no, it sucks. It's not as good as it could be. When it came out, it was pretty divisive. People said it sucked. I made sure I got it because I knew it didn't suck. I think in the long run, I was right. By the way, all of these are going in shit tier. I'll actually put you at least up to D tier. You're not, could be better. And you can get F tier. You can also get F tier, actually, because the pre-evolution is just way better than that. All right, here's something that can go all the way up to C tier. Surfetched. A nice little spin on a... Okay, now this is going to shock many of you. This is a controversial opinion, and I've been very stingy with who I'm putting in A tier. This is actually going to make it all the way up to A tier. I'm a huge fan of this Pokemon. Again, I was really late to the party playing Sun and Moon, or Sword and Shield rather. But when I got there, this guy was in my party from as soon as I can get to him. I think probably near the end of the game actually, because that's where the ice type place is. But I'm a big fan of this Pokemon. It's the evolution of Mr. Mime. But I'm a fan of the ice type in general. And this guy is a fantastic ice type. So actually, Sword and Shield already has 2 members joining the A tier ranks. Almost tied with the current leaders of Gen 3 and 4. And let me tell you, we're just going to do this right now. There's another A tier from Sword and Shield right here. This guy goes straight to A tier. Now, Sword and Shield has officially tied the current leaders. They've got 3 entries just by themselves, and we're not even technically done yet. They have a lot of shit tier Pokemon, I'll tell you that much. Like this thing, people seem to like that, but I don't like that thing. This thing sucks. This thing sucksy. Well, I'll put this one up just a little bit. Just a D tier. It's all right. The fucking Stonehenge Pokemon, not a fan. This thing with a block on its head, not a fan. Not a fan of these at all. Really not a fan of these shitty fucking Pikachu clones every game. This elephant, I'll actually give the elephant a D tier. And these fossil Pokemon, the idea is, and it's a pretty clever idea, I'll give them that much. The idea of why they look so dumb and why they're put together wrong is that the general understanding is that the Europeans had the wrong idea of digging up the fossil Pokemon, or like digging up fossils in real life, and they had the wrong idea of what they really looked like when they're reconstructing the bones. They got it wrong. That's the general idea. I've probably got a lot of that wrong. The idea is that in Europe, when they found dinosaur bones and fossils and that sort of thing, and they tried to reconstruct them for museums, they got it completely wrong. It was off by a mile. And that's the idea here, but they look so dumb that they gotta go in F tier. Again, the idea behind it is pretty clever, but I just think they all look so dumb that I can't help but put them that low. Here's a Pokemon that's actually gonna go pretty high. Up to C tier. And of course, this guy goes all the way to B tier, as well as the evolution. The middle evolution is actually pretty goated. Look wise, I don't mean like in battle. Obviously you'd want to evolve it. I actually want these to be in B tier, at least this one, because that's the things he shoots out of his head. So they go up to B tier for free. These are just fucking shit tier legendaries, honestly. Like straight up garbage, all of them, every single one of them, including you. Like here's the controversy. The expansions were actually really good. People might disagree with me, but the expansions for Sword and Shield, I know it's the first time Pokemon's ever had DLC, and it's kind of lame, but they actually had pretty good expansions. I'm gonna be honest. Like, the Pokemon itself, this fucking bear, wasn't that good, but having an entire extra, basically wild area to run around in, because that was the best part of Sword and Shield, was the wild area. They gave you an entire island to run around in, and then in the later expansion they gave you an entire new area of the mainland map to run around in as well. You gotta give them credit where it's due. However, this Pokemon just sucks. This thing, I don't even know what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I must have missed this Pokemon entirely. I have no idea what it is. This electric type Reggie looks cool, but they ruined the naming convention. Like I don't know why they had to get cute with the names. They should have just kept it how it was, like Reggie Ice, Reggie Steel, Reggie Rock. I don't know why they had to be cutesy with the fucking names. Just stay with the conventions. This thing I just don't know anything about. I didn't fuck around with this. I didn't actually finish the Crown Tundra expansion, like the story mode of it. I didn't actually finish. So now we're on to Legends Arceus, the Switch game. It came out. It's the one that takes place in the past, for those who don't know. And these are regional variants, or regional, like Pokemon that only exists in this time period. This Stantler version can get, it's not a version, it's like an evolution of Stantler. Like this is Cleavor. And you might think because I put Scizor so high, this thing would also get high, but it's like a fucking shittier version of Scizor, I'm gonna be honest. Not the coolest. This Ursaring evolution, I will give the same treatment as the Stantler evolution. I actually have no idea what this is. What the hell is this? I know this is like the Basculin evolution. Is that part of that set? I'll put this up here because surfing around on that Basculin is pretty damn cool. Sneasler, shit tier, but it's got a good ability in the game. I mean, like running up, the ability to climb up walls is cool. That thing can go there. This is shit tier. Or actually, this is actually extra. The actual Pokemon itself is shit tier. And now we're on the most recent stuff. Now we're finally in the closing moments of this tier list, and we will have ranked every single Pokemon ever. This cat, C tier. When it evolves, it stands up. Immediate F tier. Should not have ever stood up. It's got a cool move where it always crits, but god damn it, why did it have to stand up? Here's this Pokemon. I'm actually going to give it a pretty high rank there. Up to C tier. I think I put it in D tier. This goes in D tier. This goes in C tier. It'll join the initial cat evolution there. And it's this final evolution. Hey, look at that. It's actually on all fours. Just for that, just because they finally decided to put something on all fours, I'm going to put it up there. And it's a pretty cool idea. I like the ghost type. It's ghost type, right? I'm not wrong. This thing, however, is pure trash. Trash tier indeed. Don't like that. Not a fan of it. I assume these are like different types of the same Pokemon, so I'm gonna put that down there. This thing sucks. This cricket thing sucks. This is just another Pikachu thing. I like the idea here, but it's just a fucking, like, how lazy can you get? This is just a bread dog. These aren't that cool. This is just a fucking bird with a haircut. All right, wait a minute. This thing is actually going to get a pretty high ranking. All the way to B tier, in fact. Pretty good. Now there's this thing. And it's going to be hard to vote against this thing, because like these evolutions are just fucking cool. I personally like this one better. The gun version. The blaster version. Sword guy is pretty cool though, but it's the problem I have with this is like, oh, it's fucking, look, it's supposed to be cool and edgy, but the problem is it's like genuinely is cool, so I can't hate on it too much, because usually I like to hate on things that are like meant to be edgy. Like the word edge is literally in its name. Oh, this isn't supposed to be here. It's supposed to be up here. Now this is a good bird. Electric type bird. This kind of fits the mold I was talking about, where if you're gonna make a bird type, you better make it look cool. All the way to B tier. I wonder, will anything actually get an S tier out of this? Actually, there would be an S tier, but it's not. There's a little bit of a problem. We're actually missing 2 Pokemon that came out recently in Scarlet and Violet as an event Pokemon for a Terra raid. I will rate them, but the unfortunate part is they won't actually, they're not going to be actually on this. I'll just have to tell you where I would rate them. Speaking of rating things, this is bad. This is terrible. Don't like you. A shittier version of a already shitty Pokemon. Yeah. I'm actually down, Dub. I won't be able to stream it because I don't have a capture card, but yeah, absolutely I'm down for that. I kind of like this, I'll be honest. I'm gonna put this guy up in C tier. His pre-evolution, it sucks, but he himself, I pretty much like him. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of this. Not a fan of you. Not a fan of you. This line pisses me off. Just a fucking big ass hammer. Listen, I'm going to reward creativity, because they took a pre-existing Pokemon that has a conventional. Everyone knows Diglett lives in the ground. What if Diglett lived in some rocks and was underwater? I like that idea. I like creativity like that. You get a C tier from me. As for this though, we go right back into the trash pile. And big thing here, right? This right here, god damn it, do I hate running into this thing when I play ranked battles. Because they made this thing way too, they need to fucking ban this Pokemon. They made it too strong for no goddamn reason. It doesn't even look that cool. Why is there 2 of them? Put this thing in extra tier. I don't know why there's 2 of them. But this fucking Pokemon, this version where you switch out and it comes back and it's, ooh, look at me, I'm a superhero. Go fuck yourself. Ban that Pokemon, then I might come back to ranked battles. This thing ruins my day every time I'm up against it. Absolute garbage. I don't know why they decided to make that thing so strong. This, I unironically, the idea that this is like the modern day equivalent of the game's legendaries, I think is a very novel idea. And again, I reward creativity. I'll put it to a C tier. This thing is just a fucking giant worm. As well, not a fan of this. This is a fucking dog with a gravestone on its head. This is a flamingo. Here's the thing. This is a flamingo. This is a yard flamingo. I like the idea. I actually used one on my team for a little while in the game, but it's a fucking flamingo. Have a little bit of creativity. Oh, it's got a knot in it. Wow, I'm impressed. This not a huge fan of. Listen, I know nothing is ever going to match the unbroken 27 shit tier Pokemon here from Black and White. You might be like, oh wow, most of these Pokemon are from Scarlet and Violet are going in F tier. That's just because I'm too lazy to scroll up. I'd be putting a few of these, like these two should be in D tier, but I'm too lazy to scroll up. So don't let that fool you too much. What the fuck is this? Oh, no, okay. I like this. I'll take the extra precaution to scroll up to D tier. These are extras of the same thing, of course. And the thing is, when you team up with this and it creates an attack, I like that idea where you run the two Pokemon together. This thing, the fact that it got so angry that it died, I think is fucking hilarious. I watched the J-Wits video on that. You're garbage. You're garbage. You're definitely garbage. Or you're not literally garbage, but in F tier. Because if I say garbage, you're gonna think I'm putting them in this tier. No. This tier is reserved for this piece of shit, worst Pokemon of all time. And this Pokemon, who's actually pretty cool, but has the worst name of all time. This is a pretty good Pokemon. I like the idea that they finally gave us an evolution to Bisharp. Now we get into the ancient / futuristic Pokemon. You're getting a D tier though, because you're not that cool. This is just a fucking Jigglypuff, let's be honest. This is like an already terrible Pokemon. This thing is another Pokemon. Ban this Pokemon from ranked. Do you hear me? Get this thing out of my fucking lobby. I'm tired of running into it, but it's pretty cool. The fact that Valcrona is crawling on the ground is a novel idea to me. I'll bump it up to a D tier. Now what is this? Oh, this is a past version of Magnemite, which doesn't make any fucking sense, which is why I'm gonna give it a D tier, because it's pretty funny. This is trash tier. I'm gonna be honest, most of these futuristic Pokemon are trash tier to me. I know this is a really good Pokemon for like raids. I'll give this one I'll put it up here with the rest of C tier. Where's the Tyranitar one? I'll rate the Tyranitar one pretty high. Tyranitar got a pretty high rating himself. Go to B tier, why don't you? A Mecha Godzilla Pokemon is a-okay with me. This, not the coolest. Ooh, here's these. Now this is another example of I don't want to have to scroll all the way up to C tier, but I'll make the exception because I like this line of Pokemon pretty much. I think this pseudo legendary from this game, a lot of people actually had mixed opinions on it. I didn't mind so much. I gladly will use this on a team. This Baxcalibur. I fucked it up. Hold on. I'll gladly use this guy on a team. He can go all the way up to B tier. It's actually starting to look like we won't have any members of Scarlet and Violet in the A tier, but that's not quite correct because there are some missing Pokemon here. Two of them, in fact, that are missing. These I'm gonna put down. I know this is from Sword and Shield. It's a fucking shit Pokemon. I don't know where it goes. It goes before. It goes here. Same with this. Hate this thing. Hate this thing. Hate you. Now these treasure Pokemon. Once again, it's a pretty novel idea, but the designs aren't super cool. The battle theme that they have is probably the best in the game. Well, one of the best in the game. The Elite Four theme is pretty hard to beat, honestly. I actually didn't mean to put him in the D tier. I would put all of these guys in the C tier. They don't look the coolest. Well, this guy actually does. This ice type, like, I don't know what you'd call it, like a fucking, like a panther, a leopard, I don't know what you'd call that. And a little koi fish as well. This is a Pokemon that's going straight to A tier. Because, and here's the reason. A, it's Salamence, which is already pretty high. Again, Salamence made it to B tier on his own earlier. B, they referenced Mega Evolution for the first time. Because in the Pokedex entry, it says something about, it alludes to Mega Evolution, which is the first time any game has even come close to mentioning Mega Evolution since Sun and Moon. And even in Sun and Moon, they only added it in as a battle mechanic. So, you know, really it's been since the Ruby and Sapphire remakes that anyone has done anything Mega Evolution related, even said the word Mega Evolution. And in this Pokedex entry, it gives a little nod to Mega Evolutions, which I think is pretty cool. Now here's the thing though. I use this Pokemon on my competitive team. It should be banned. Listen, I'm not a hypocrite. I said those other things should be banned. That's true. So should this thing. This thing is a little too powerful. It needs to be banned. But until it's not banned, I'm gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? Again, I think the Dolphin Pokemon and the Ancient Mischievous Ancient Mischievous should be banned. Get them out of the game, or not out of the game, but get them out of competitive. Get all ancient and all future Pokemon out of competitive. They don't belong there. They're a little too good. Same with the Salamence, the ancient Salamence. Get them out of there. But I'm gonna use them. If everyone else is gonna be using broken Pokemon, I'm not gonna be the one that's left out. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he's an A tier, easy A tier. There's also another A tier that isn't on this list, unfortunately. I would actually put this guy pretty high as well, up to here. His shiny form looks pretty fucking cool. A little voice crack as I'm trying to decide where I want to put that. I like that Koraidon. I like the fact that he has Drought, and if you do a double battle with him and Ancient Salamence, you're gonna win. That's simple. Not a big fan of the Violet version of it. Here's the thing. Now, we've ranked all of the available Pokemon. However, there are two Pokemon that aren't on this list that I know are in the games currently. And they were the event Pokemon that came out for the event raids. Do you know what I mean? It's the Walking Wake, which is the ancient historical version of Suicune, which you can see. Where did I put Suicune? Somewhere on here, right here. The ancient version of this Pokemon right here. I would put that in an A tier. It's a pretty fucking dope Pokemon. And it was a pretty difficult raid too. I had to actually, usually I try and solo those raids. I actually had to go online. Not like online like I looked for help, but like I went online on my Switch and had to invite people to come help me. So I got that. That would be an A tier. And then there's also the Virizion Future Edition. Not quite an A tier. In fact, I would put that in a C tier. So just imagine the past historical version of Suicune gets an A tier from me, and the Virizion future version actually gets a C tier. That concludes the entire thing. We've ranked everything. And now I promised I'd do this. We did actually never had an S tier. So what I want to do now is take a look at the A tier, and we're going to pick one Pokemon to be the number one out of all of them. A tier is pretty stacked. It's going to be kind of hard to decide, honestly. I do have sort of an initial number one, though, and it's going to be something a lot of people disagree with. But me personally, this goes back all the way to the days where I was playing Pokemon Stadium on Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64, let me say that again because I completely choked some of the vowels there. And no, before you ask, no, I'm not old enough to have actually played Nintendo 64 when it came out. That's just the only console I had. I was like 10 years behind on every console until I was like out of high school. So with that being said, it's going to be Nidoking. Nidoking will be the number one. He will be our only S tier representative just because of nostalgic reasons. Of course, you can make an argument pretty much for most of these Pokemon that they should be the ones to go in S tier. But for me, I'm the one making the tier list. I'm putting Nidoking as our number one in the S tier, the only S tier Pokemon, and I think I'm good with it. Pokemon Stadium 1 dub had a bunch of mini games. I actually never got to play Pokemon Stadium 2. I only played 1, but there was a lot of mini games, like the Magikarp jumping mini game, the Lickitung mini game, the Sushi Lickitung video game mini game. There was the Clefairy Simon Says video game or mini game, the Electrode Electro type mini game. There's a couple others. The snake, you throw the snakes. Everything I'm saying now was in the first one. Yeah. The one where you throw the snakes into the Diglett rings. The Sandshrew one. Oh my god, the Sandshrew one. I was the goat. I had, because you gotta press. Where's the controller? Because you had to press the trigger buttons. The L, the left and right trigger buttons. You had to mash them. I won that game every single time. Nobody ever beat me. Even when I played against real people, the very rare time that happened, even when I played against real people, I was undefeated. I was the #1 player at that Diglett minigame where you got to press the triggers. Undefeated. The greatest of all time, you might say. But yeah, that game, goated game. And if you missed it, dub, I actually put Kabutops. He's actually in B tier. Because in that game, he has that really cool animation where he sticks his spikes in the ground and jumps. I like that. Yeah, they do need to add mini games, dub. That would be cool. But this is, with Nidoking being our #1, being our S tier representative, this is the rankings. This is the Crouton Dust ranking of every Pokemon ever. Again, little asterisk because I can't actually put the 2 new Pokemon from Scarlet and Violet on here yet, but this is pretty damn close to the actual full list here. Again, I think it's pretty legendary, no pun intended, pretty unbelievable that where's that at? The absolute run. And I would say Black and White are like at least like my second favorite game in the entire series now. Again, I used to hate the games. I used to think they were terrible, but I've come around to them a little bit, and I think a lot of people have too, that they weren't quite as bad as we made them out to be at the beginning. But man, I think a big part of why people had so much hate for that game, 27 F tier Pokemon unbroken in a row. And again, you could make an argument that Samurott doesn't necessarily belong here, but I think he's dragged down by the rest, by not only his own evolutions, the people around him as well. Really dragged him down. I think a 27 unbroken F tier streak is unbelievable and only something Gen 5 could do. So pretty impressive stuff there. We also had the garbage tier. One last explanation on why these two are in the garbage tier by themselves. Mimikyu, worst Pokemon ever made. I fucking hate how many people, oh, it's the cutest, I love it. It just like, no, again, I'll be here for 30 minutes if I go on a rant here. I hate how many people like it. It's a dumb Pokemon. It is annoying to battle against. This thing, Toxtricity is in the garbage tier. Not because it's a bad Pokemon. I actually very much like this Pokemon, and the type combination is very cool. But the name Toxtricity is the laziest fucking name I've ever heard. Toxic and electricity smashed together, usually like Squirtle. Let's take Squirtle for example. Squirt like water and turtle like Ertle. Smash them together. At least it's an animal and something to do with water. They just took two elements and smashed them together. That's dumb as hell, and it sounds dumb. Toxtricity. You couldn't have had something better. Like you have to take the actual toxic and electricity and mash them together. You couldn't think of some synonym to put in there. It's just a lazy fucking name in my opinion, and that's enough to put him in garbage tier. A cool Pokemon ruined by his own name. That's the ranking though. I hope everyone enjoyed checking the rankings out from a person to I've got a lot of Pokemon experience. I've played almost every single game, the exceptions being Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and the Let's Go games, like the what do you call it, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Never really played those. What else? I feel like there's something else I didn't play. Oh, Black 2 and White 2. I haven't beat them, but I have played them. So that was on my list of things that I hadn't played yet. I technically have played them. I just haven't gotten to the end yet. I've got a pretty good idea of all the Pokemon from Gen 5. Again, that unbelievable 27 F tier streak. But in general, I've got a pretty good handle on all things Pokemon. Again, I even gave a little info on like the Pokemon Masters units of what, you know, of the different kind of rankings that I kind of moved around based on that as well. So hope you guys enjoyed checking this one out. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time. Dub, you said playing around 10. That's 10 your time, right? That would be around 9 my time. 100%, I'm down. Are you like jumping into a Discord call to do that? Because again, I won't be able to stream it because I don't have a capture card. But I'm 100% down if you want to run a couple raids. It's been a while since I've really done any raids, so it'll be fun. This was a long ass stream though. How long did this end up being? Let me see. Almost a 3-hour stream. Holy. All right. Well, this is second only to my funnily enough another Pokemon stream where I did a 4-hour stream on my Black and White Nuzlocke. You were there for that, Dub. You know what I'm talking about. But we're gonna wind this one down. Dub sounds good. What are you wanting to jump into like a Discord call, or are we just gonna like run it like with no comms? Because I'm fine with either one. Just let me know which. Just send me a message if you want to do Discord. Just let me know what channel you want me to jump into, or like if it's gonna be a call. But yeah, I won't be able to stream it. Just keep that in mind. If you want it to be streamed, I won't be able to do that, unfortunately. I don't have a capture card. I guess I could like point my camera at it maybe, but that sounds stupid. Thanks everybody for showing up. That is the end of the stream though. In case you missed any of the rankings and you want to find out where your favorite Pokemon landed, check out the VOD, or I'm probably going to edit this for YouTube as well at some point. It's going to be kind of a long edit though, so be sure to check that out. But we're going to ending screen. Dub, wait, Dub, are you still here? I forgot. Look, this is your clip, Dub. I forgot I still had this. I clicked this instead of my ending screen. Now to the real ending screen. I forgot all about that. Peace out there, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one.